the U.S. is developing a new missile to counter the threat from Russia and China. Welcome back to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. President Trump has an announcement to make.
I call it the Super Duper missile.
I believe that's the technical term. The president's comments came on May 15th during an event where officials presented him with the new flag of the U.S. Space Force. Like a kid in a candy store. Only the candy store is a new branch of the U.S. military, with a hint of Starfleet Command? And the Space Force is not candy. It's meant to protect U.S. and allied interests in space. And although the U.S. Space Force may not say this explicitly, it's meant to protect U.S. space assets, like satellites, from China and Russia. Speaking of China and Russia, they've also been developing their own hypersonic weapons. Hypersonic means it goes at least 5 times the speed of sound, the kind of missile that could take out a U.S. aircraft carrier before the sailors can say, "Holy moly, holy moly." That's how sailors talk. Anyway, in what seemed to be unscripted remarks at the Oval Office, President Trump went on to describe the new super duper missile the U.S. is working on.
I call it the Super Duper missile. And I heard the other night 17 times faster than what they have right now. Then you take the fastest missile we have right now. You've heard Russia has 5 times, and China's working on 5 or 6 times. We have one 17 times, and it's just gotten the go-ahead. 17 times faster, if you can believe that, General. That's something, right?
Yes, Mr. President, that is something that maybe let's not say anything more about because it's a secret high-tech weapon. But in response to follow-up questions from reporters, the chief Pentagon spokesman did confirm that they are working on a range of hypersonic missiles to counter our adversaries. Now, it's unclear whether Trump's comments about the super-duper missile were him accidentally saying too much, I know it's a stretch, or whether they were intentional, meant to let Russia and China know that now is not a time to mess with the U.S. But either way, this technology is important. In early 2018, pre-Beard Chris was talking about these concerns on China Uncensored. Of course, the main fear is not so much that the Chinese Communist Party will nuke the United States. It's that if China is the first to successfully develop these hypersonic missiles, it will change the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region. Because of their incredible speed and lower flight path, hypersonic missiles could get through U.S. missile defense systems in Asia, like THAAD in South Korea. In March 2019, the think tank the Hudson Institute dedicated an entire hour-long panel to just the issue of China's hypersonic missile threat.
There's no clearer case, no clearer challenge than in the Indo-Pacific theater and the challenges that China is imposing upon the United States as a Pacific power. And hypersonic weapons goes right to the heart of that challenge because it is the capability that will keep us out from carrying out our treaty obligations and other support we offer to friends and allies, and really what make us a Pacific power.
And in March 2020, the Pentagon successfully tested a hypersonic glide body in Hawaii. Now, it's unclear whether these new hypersonic missiles would be used by the U.S. Space Force, but the Navy wants its ship launch capability fielded in 2023, followed by a submarine-launched missile in 2024, and the Air Force wants to field its air-launched version in 2022. And developing these capabilities is more important than ever. Relations between the U.S. and China are tenser than they've been in decades, especially after the Chinese Communist Party covered up the coronavirus, allowed it to spread to the U.S., and then blamed the U.S. military for it. And it doesn't help that the Chinese Communist Party has ramped up its threats to Taiwan, a U.S. ally. The People's Liberation Army has staged a series of war games, including flybys and warship transits through the Taiwan Strait in recent months. And in December, Russia announced it had developed a hypersonic weapon, one that can easily evade American missile defense systems. And some media are reporting that this month, Russia even tested a version of the missile that can be launched straight from a bomber plane. So when the two biggest authoritarian regimes on Earth are developing hypersonic technology, maybe it's time for the US to also up its game, even if the official name ends up not being Super Duper. So, what do you think? What would you name America's new hypersonic missile? Leave your comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is supported mainly through direct viewer support through the crowdfunding website Patreon. Go to patreon.com/America Uncovered and support us with $1 or more per episode. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.